It's that time. It's inside the IFL. And as always, I'm with Ed Ritter.
What's up?
Ed's feeling under the weather today, so bear with him.
Oh, man, this year has been, for my allergies and sinuses this year, it's just kicked my ass, I'll tell you.
Yeah, my wife's been dealing with, I think it's strep throat. And it's your wife, so of course you're going to give your wife loving here and there. And just yesterday evening, my throat's been feeling like it's starting to tighten up on me. So,
Yeah, blame her.
let's hope I'm not getting it. So far, I'm
Blame
good.
her. Tell her it's her fault.
Oh, yeah. So I've been taking cough syrup, even though I don't have the cough. It just feels like it's starting to get scratchy and tight. And I've been drinking hot tea for the last 36 hours, and it's already feeling better. So I'm hoping I got on top of it before it got bad.
Mine's, yeah, my throat hurts. My eyes itch. I got pressure in my head. I'm clogged, as you can probably hear it.
Yeah.
Then when I'm not clogged, my nose is running like crazy, and every time I blow my nose, it's greenish yellow shit. So I'm pretty sure I got a sinus infection. So yeah.
Yeah, we're just falling apart.
That's what happens when you get old and you have kids.
You realize this is episode 45, by the way?
Love it.
Episode 45 of Inside the IFL. We haven't even gotten into season number 2. And to me, I just want to touch on that just for the simple fact that we used to run a podcast for the other company, so to speak. We had a ball over there. Always had great interaction. As Ed blows his nose, that's freaking great. All right.
Sorry about that.
Oh, hell. But,
man.
Yeah, we used to have great shows over there, great call-ins, good interaction, all that stuff. When we used to do it, I think it was on Talk Shoe or whatever.
Yeah.
And we only hit episode 50, and it was like almost 2 or 3 seasons over that time.
Right.
We haven't even started season 2, and we're already on episode 45 here. And like I said, to me, it's important to me and special for me as the person who came up with the IFL, started the IFL, got Kyle Walsh, got Chris Davis all to come on board, help me build this thing. And we haven't even scratched the surface. As I talked to you last night, I've already got plans for next season already that's going to improve this league. Things that I should have thought of already, but I didn't. But that's okay. We're going to have a great season 2. But 45 episodes of this, and we're still a month away. This season starts 1 month from today. 1 month from today, we will have the first night of action. So, and we released the schedule yesterday. So here we are for the 45th time on the air doing this thing. And I couldn't be happier with what we've got going so far in this league.
Oh, I'm very happy.
So,
good.
Well,
and real quick, the community seems to be very happy with it. You can see how guys are interacting more, and they're not afraid to open up their mouth.
Oh, yeah.
Which I think that was the biggest thing for them. You know, them to be able to have a voice and talk and do what they need to do. You know, not have us go, oh, God, no, we're not doing that because you said that. No. So.
Yeah. And that's something that's been important to me from the beginning is giving everybody who's in this league a voice. You know, I don't want somebody to have a certain title to feel they can talk. It doesn't matter who you are. Your opinion is just as important as the next guy.
Right. And they all seem to be, they'll get on and they'll talk and say, hey, what about this? Hey, what about that? And like you said, and I've said, you know, we love it. We love getting the suggestions. We love getting their ideas. We love, you know.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, this league is built. I'm not going to go into a whole list of names, but this league so far has been built on the efforts of several people who've come forward and said, have we considered this? Maybe we want to try that. Have you thought about this? And then I bring that stuff to you, to Davis, to Kyle, and to my own self. And we sit here and really think about things, break it down in our heads, and figure out, okay, let's take that idea. Now let's mold it into even something better and greater. And a lot of people have helped mold us to what we are because they're not afraid to talk and voice their thoughts, knowing that their opinion matters just like anyone else's.
And I'm going to go off topic here for a second. Just because I got an alert on my phone from NFL.com. Since it concerns two of our guys that are in the league here, and their teams are playing each other this week. I can't wait to see what these guys say, and that would be Mark Chisholm and Chris Davis. The Broncos have announced that Brock Osweiler will start at quarterback against the Eagles.
That just now came across NFL Network's alert.
Just got it popped up on NFL Mobile, yeah.
That's hilarious. Because I heard that about an hour ago.
There you go. Well, you're in Pennsylvania, so you're going to hear shit probably faster than everybody else.
Shit. Yeah, and since you're talking about NFL real quick, I do got to say this. I am laying down the wager right now, and there will be pictures taken if it's accepted. Baby brother, I know you're out there going to be listening to this if you're not already here. Your Miami Dolphins play my Oakland Raiders this week. I have a wager and a bet for you, young man. It's real simple. No money involved. No money involved, but let's make a bet. Whoever loses has to shave their head, shave their face, and shave their eyebrows. Do you take the bet? So that's my wager. And whoever loses has to take a picture of their bald head, their no facial hair, and lack of eyebrow. We'll see if he takes the bet.
I don't know. Do either one of you really want to make that bet?
I want to make that bet. Let's see. This is the Miami Dolphins. They're not going to beat the Raiders even if their life depended on it. And now they've just lost their running back.
Well, we are talking the Raiders, though.
Yeah. The Raiders.
I know my team sucks, but I got to get to say it finally. Your team ain't much better.
Remember what I said to you, though. Last year when the Raiders did what they did, didn't I tell you that was 2 years too soon?
Yep.
2 years too soon. Now look at it this year. Kind of right where I thought they were going to be last year. So I'm not even stressing it because this team ain't even where it should be yet. Because to me, they're still mature and still getting their feet under them, still putting pieces in the puzzle. We have shit for a secondary. Navarro Bowman only gives us a little bit at linebacker with Bruce Urban. So it's like, okay, we still have nothing for right tackle. Nothing at all. Our running game's such a disaster. It's not even funny. Amari, I can't catch a ball if my life depended on it. Cooper. Seth, I can't catch a ball if my life depended on Roberts, our receivers, to go along with Crabtree, who can't stay off the injury list. 3-5 in most games, I'm good.
I'd take 3 wins right now. I'll tell you that.
Have you even had 3 wins over the last 3 seasons combined? That's counting this year, because I know you went 1-15 last year. What were you 2 years ago? I don't even remember.
To be honest with you, I don't remember. It's just been the last 20 years have just been a blur of suckiness.
Trying to think how it was. What in the world was your all's record? It's right in the tip of my tongue. It's right in the tip of my tongue. We're talking 2015, aren't we?
Right.
Because this year you're 0-8. Last year 1-15, 2-15. Yeah, you won 3 games in 2015. So between 2015, 2016, and what games you've played this year, you guys have 1 more win than we do this season alone.
Woo!
Yoo-hoo! And we're 3-5. Oh, hell. Gotta love it. But we'll get back to the topic at hand, and that's going to be to break down this Pacific Conference. But what I want to do is get the attention of all owners.
Excuse me.
I'll probably be posting about this as well on Slack.
Hold on, buddy. She's going to be done in a minute.
Won't be possibly I will be. But I'm letting all owners know now. I've taken care of builds. We've gotten salary caps under wraps. I still need to get 2 or 3 teams to double confirm their diamond in the rough players. One team had sent me 2 and gave them each 1 ability and changed their mind on that because it was supposed to be 1 player, which we had a chuckle at that one. Another team told me who the diamond in rough was going to be, but never told me the ability. So some small things. I just got to make sure I get it squared away. So that's done as far as I'm concerned. That takes me to the next step, and that's going to be the leadership bonus award to a player. So owners, remember the rules. A non-star, non-skill position player. So that means anyone on the offensive line, anyone on the defensive line, a kicker, punter, or your fullback, as long as they're not a star player already, can have the leadership award added to them. So they get the leadership bonus given to them. So if you have, say, a defensive lineman that's playing tackle and another defensive lineman that's playing defensive end, you can actually add a defensive leadership ability to one of the other 2 linemen that are on that team if you wanted to. Take Boston. They got 2 guards. They could add the leadership down to one of the tackles or the center if they so desired. The list is endless. If you got a team who wants to pound the rock, maybe you want to give that to the fullback. You have a lot of options here. So any offensive lineman, any defensive lineman, kicker, punter, fullback that's not a star player can get the leadership bonus. Message me who's going to get it on Slack so I can get that added to your team when I start building the teams, because I started building the teams yesterday, and I'm actually in the editor as we speak, actually currently working on Arizona. I have maybe 20-25% of the team done, but I've already completed, and this is minus the bits and pieces. I know some teams are going to have number requirements, maybe color requirements for their player, what race they're going to be, small things. But the player's made, his position set up, all his abilities and everything are in place, and I have now, Arizona will be the 4th team done once I complete it here after we go off the air. So I've gotten 3 done. I'm doing the Pacific Conference right now because I figured we're doing the Pacific Conference today. I'll start on the Pacific Conference in the editor. So 4 teams will be done probably by 2:30, 3 o'clock today, because I don't know how long we're going to be in the air. Probably not till no later than 12:30, because I have somewhere to be. Why the show got bumped up. But that being stated, we're getting there, and then I'm getting that information from you owners as well soon. And that is sending me all the information that you want for your players. Who's going to have this equipment? Who's going to be this skin tone? Who's got this dark shield or clear shield, which goes into their equipment? Their numbers and all that good stuff. And since I am working on Arizona, I'm going to put this out here so you guys have this information. We talked Monday. We didn't mention Kit Rambo, whether or not he would be like the running game they had last year. We weren't sure of his size, all the information, and all that good stuff. I got the information today from Stevie T. Diggs. Kit Rambo will be 6'3", 234. That's how big he is. 6'3", 234. Their running back last year was 5'11", 245. So a much taller player, little slower, or slender rather. So there we have that.
Cool.
All right. So now that all being said, it's time to get into this Pacific Conference. For those of you who've been under a rock and haven't been paying much attention and don't know what teams are in the Pacific Conference and what teams are in the Atlantic Conference, your Pacific Conference teams are the North Division and the West Division. The West Division being the Arizona Outlaws, the Denver Yeti, the Tokyo Kitsune, and the San Diego Bulldogs. So that's the West Division. Now, the North, of course, I was asked when we first made this mention, how are these teams in the Pacific Conference? And we'll touch on it here in 1 second. But they're the Chicago Assassins, the Detroit Hawks, the Green Bay Grizzlies, and the Winnipeg Crusaders. Of course, none of those cities are on the Pacific coast. But none of those cities are on the Atlantic coast. And when you look at what we put in the Atlantic, just to touch on those teams real quick, clearly as day, Baltimore, Boston, Philadelphia, New York are near the Atlantic. So when you look at the South, Dallas, Nashville, especially Atlanta and Tampa Bay, they're on the Atlantic coast. So it made more sense to put those teams in the Atlantic than the Northern Division teams. So today's breakdown: Pacific Conference. Chicago, Detroit, Winnipeg, Green Bay, Arizona, Denver, Tokyo, San Diego. And we'll be back on Friday to cover the Atlantic. Give you the power with this Pacific Conference breakdown today. Where do you want to go, and where do you want to start?
We'll start with the North.
All right.
And then we'll just go alphabetically. Just make it easy. Hell yeah.
I do want to throw this out then, since you want to say the North. If you guys get on our Slack, go to the division discussion channel. I invited every single one of you there. And I started a poll question. Which team is going to win the division? So since Ed wants to start with the North, I will give the current voting. The Green Bay Grizzlies are leading the voting with 8 votes. The Chicago Assassins have 6 votes. The Detroit Hawks have 4 votes. And the Winnipeg Crusaders only have 3 votes. So from first to last, they're only separated by 5 total votes, which isn't too many. So I know you want to start with Chicago, but Green Bay with the most votes. Do you find that surprising?
Not really. I think it's just guys looking at this, looking at that, and you really don't know. This division is wide open.
Yeah.
Because it's 4 new teams, 4 new owners.
Mm-hmm. 4 very different goals too.
That too. The guys are just taking a look at what they see as far as their builds, and just voting that way, because you really don't know. There's nothing for us to go by as far as what they've done in the past, or how they think, or how they this, how they, it's a wide open thing.
Right.
So I can understand why this team got it or that team got it.
And maybe I'm crazy, but the one thing I got out of Chicago being below Green Bay, or when I looked at this, is it's been proven by the way people talk that people believe that the IFL is a defensive-driven league.
Right.
Chicago's built around 2 gold wide receivers and a gold quarterback, whereas Green Bay went with the gold corner, the gold defensive tackle, and the gold outside linebacker. So to me, I'm thinking defensive-minded people in this league thinking this is what drives our league. Is that why they're taking Green Bay over Chicago, because they're more defensive-heavy?
Oh, that could easily be it. I was thinking the exact same thing when I was looking at it, and I noticed the votes. I'm like, yeah, I think this is why they vote, because it's been proven so far that it is a defensive league.
Right. And I mean, I won't make no bones. We're going to start with Chicago, and to me, Chicago's my pick to win this division. And I will say why, and that's how we can start this discussion. Chicago's got the 2 gold receivers. That goes without having to break it down, with the gold quarterback to back it up. When you look at what they got to face within the division, they get 1 gold corner from Green Bay. Then Green Bay has a silver free safety. The other corner and strong safety are at bronze. Winnipeg has the gold strong safety, a silver corner, and then the other corner and free safety are bronze. And the Detroit Hawks did confirm finally James Smith is a strong safety. He's at silver. And then copper free safety Shark Harris. No corners. The secondary in this league as a whole isn't overly powerful when you're facing 2 gold wide receivers. And if they put together the right game plan, they can chuck the ball all day long. And to me, just gives them a huge advantage. And that's to take nothing away from the other 3 teams. I just like their chances, especially when you realize they have Brian Holt at copper and Charlie Hogan at bronze to go 4 wide receiver. And then and then they have that fullback, the copper fullback. So it's like when they're not going 4 wide receiver sets, they've improved their running game. So I just like their overall build the most, and just think it's a little more powerful for them. And I just like their chances more than the other 3 teams. So, Your take on that?
I'd agree with that. Sorry, I had to get a drink, and I agree with what you said, because I looked at that too. Because you and I talked about this off air and on the phone when Detroit got their team finally together, and we said, look, there's no corners.
Right.
I've only know one other team that's done this. You know it.
Mm-hmm.
And they've been pretty successful with it. But that's, another time, another place.
Different rules.
Right. I don't see how that works here. I just don't.
Yeah, I don't see how that works no matter where you are.
No, if we're, like we said, everybody agrees that we're a defensive league. If you don't have your two key defensive players, you might be in trouble.
Could be.
And like you said, when we're going to see it. First game of the year, Detroit plays Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
Chicago, like you said, has a gold quarterback, 2 gold wide receivers, a bronze wide receiver, and a copper wide receiver. And Detroit has no star corners.
Right.
Honestly, we've seen it. We know it. We know how, for the most part, we are aware of how it works. If Chicago comes up with the right passing game, they're going to eat Detroit alive.
Very well could. And then how you mentioned there's no star corners. Don't forget that free safety is only a copper. And again, for those that are living under a rock, to be a copper means one simple thing. When you go into the editor, you have attributes like speed, agility, stamina, durability. The list goes on. All coppers are only getting a +5 at that spot.
Which one are they moving to strong? Then you said
the silver.
Okay, so I can
so
my
yeah,
notes here.
James Smith will be a silver free safety. So, like I said, then just to give people the idea of what I'm talking about here, a generic.
So he's going to keep it. Wait a minute. Now you got me confused. Is he making him the strong safety, or is he keeping him at free safety?
James Smith will be a silver strong safety.
Okay.
And Sherrick Harris will be a copper free safety.
All right, that's what I thought.
But to touch on the copper, because that's what that's what he's going to be. In the terms of the editor, it's referred to as generic, because that's really all these players are. Coppers are really generics with a +5. When you go into the attributes, and this information is available to anybody who wants it, they just got to ask me for it, and I can send it. A generic free safety has a speed of 73. They have 63 agility. They have 80 durability, 60 coverage, 60 jumping, 66 aggressiveness. I'm just throwing random things. 50 in run coverage. So that's just the way that goes. And if you take I'm just going to say silver free safety, just for a small comparison. If you take a silver free safety, his attributes are much different. They have 83 speed and agility. Their durability is 80. Their coverage jumps all the way to 82. Aggressiveness is an 82. Run coverage jumps to 65. So there's a big gap. But remember, you get a +5 across the board on all those numbers I mentioned. So some of those stats added up, those numbers don't sound too bad once you add the +5, but they're still much weaker than what would be a bronze player.
But we might as well do this. We'll look at it since you have that, and you can. All right. To go with a generic corner.
Mm-hmm.
Give like their coverage number or what whatever you want to go, speed, coverage, however you want to, and then go and look at the gold wide receiver at his speed, his catch and stuff like that, and you're going to see the difference, and then you can let people know this is what they're dealing with.
Right. All right. A generic corner, which is coppers. Like I said, these guys will get a +5. So the numbers I say to you add +5. Speed is 77. So that's going to go to 82. Agility, 77, going to go to 82. Stamina is going to go to 90. Durability, 85. And I'm giving you the numbers right now with the +5. Strength, 37. Jumping, 75. Coverage.
Did you say 37?
Yeah, strength will be 37.
Wow.
Coverage now. This is a, and actually I'm giving you copper numbers, and they're not going to be coppers. They're going to be generic. So let me go back and redo this. I'm still thinking about the safety. No, these are going to be their numbers. These are the numbers.
They get nothing.
Yeah, 77 speed, 77 agility, 85 stamina, 80 durability, 32 strength, 70 jumping. This is the scary one. Coverage is a 60. Aggressiveness, 66. Tackle is only a 45. Breaking a tackle, he gets the ball interception. He's only got 10%. So it's 10. Secure ball, 40. Pass rush, 20. Run coverage, 25. Consistency, 60. Now you said get the gold wide receiver. Gold wide receiver. I will literally click right now on Chicago. I haven't done them yet, so these numbers will not change other than the name and the player information. And again, this is no secret. These informations are available for anyone who wants to dig them up and check them out. Let's see here. Not Chicago. Yeah, Chicago. That's where I want to go, right? Yeah, Chicago.
Yeah, because they got the gold.
I almost clicked on Green Bay. All right, Chicago gold wide receivers. These are the points. Yes. These are the attributes. 92 speed. A generic wide receiver corner has 77. 92 agility. 80 stamina. 60 strength. That's 60 compared to 32. 90 jumping. Rounding the routes, 90. Aggressiveness, 90. Breaking tackle, 65. Secure ball, 80. Consistency, 90. So when you got a guy who's got 92 speed, 92 agility, 60 strength, 90 jumping. So that's 92, 92, 60, 90. And then when you go back and you look at a generic corner, all right, now this is a generic corner, and compare the numbers, that's 92 speed to 77 speed. That's 92 agility to 77. The coverage is 60. These guys have a 90 route. Jumping's 90 to 70. There's a huge disadvantage. But if you put together the right game plan, who's to say it can't work?
It's true. But we're just saying, we haven't seen it tried yet. We haven't seen it no star corners in this league. We have seen it other places. And guys have, done halfway decent with them. But like you said, we play this at a different level. Our sliders are different. Everything's different. So how is that going to, I don't know what I'm trying to figure, what I'm trying to say here.
Here's how I look at it.
Where'd it go? Oh, there it is.
For me, I look at it this way. I'm not a fan of going generic corners, no matter what the reason. But somebody could make it work. Like I said, it supposedly worked somewhere else. I don't buy it. I'm being honest. I think it's a very bad idea, but I'm not going to second guess a team's thought, opinion, game plan, because let's be honest, I have zero doubt Alex and Heath McDaniel haven't gone into the game and spent plenty enough time trying to figure this out and said, you know what, maybe we can do this and get away with it. To me, I'm 100% confident they found something. They could go with two generic corners and be comfortable with it. I can't think they just said, "Oh, let's try it." I don't buy that. So I think they know something, and they're willing to give it a shot and see if it'll work.
Okay.
Well, all right,
let's give them the benefit of the doubt, and that's true. But then again, what if it was the opposite of what you, and they just say, hey, we're going to try just to see what happens.
I wish them all the best.
Okay.
That's all you can do. You know, I don't know. I mean, let's put it this way. If you're going with two generic corners, I probably would have made one of my safeties gold just for a little bit of help. But they do have a silver. And since he's a silver, my other safety would not have been a copper. He'd at least been a silver or a bronze. You know, I'd have beasted that secondary as much as I possibly can. But let's not just talk all the negatives. Let's talk some positives for them. They do have a gold outside linebacker.
Yes, they do.
They have a silver defensive tackle who was nasty last season as a bronze.
Yep.
That helps get pass rush. That could help out. So that could be part of the game plan. You know, and then they have another inside linebacker at bronze. And then they added Barrett Riley Harrison at defensive end at copper. And we've seen defensive linemen in this league at copper beat some ass.
Well. Yeah, they do very well.
So that could be the thinking. Let's get some defensive linemen in there to wreck shop in the backfield, force early passes, and we can get away with it.
Yeah.
And that very well could work.
Well, if they're thinking that way,
we'll see.
I can understand that. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting build for the Hawks as to why we say Chicago looks like they're going to have a field day. And you take a look at Chicago when we talk about secondary, 2 silver safeties and a silver corner. And then they came back with a silver outside linebacker. So they took 3 offensive players for gold and then came back with all 4 defense at silver.
Yep.
Which I think helps. Since you spent too much money on gold players to be on one side of the ball, I think they countered it that way. And then they split the bronze, which I thought was even better. 2 offensive players, 2 defensive players. And then they went with 2 more offensive players at copper and 1 defensive player, which I think is another thing that people aren't picking them is because they went offensive heavy with this build. Yeah. When it's supposed to be a defensive league. What is your take on that one?
It's going to be interesting to see. I mean, because, you know, I'm one of those guys that believe defense. I am old school, and I firmly believe that a defense will win you a championship faster than an offense will. So, unless, to quote Mr. Chisholm, unless you have the cheat code.
Oh, hell.
And then you're, you know, no, I just messing with him.
Right.
Stevie knows I love him. I'm just messing with him. But that's just, it's going to be interesting because, like you said, they are built offensively.
Right.
And we saw last year what happens when a team was built offensively. And you and I both talked about it, and other people have said the same thing. If New York doesn't freak out, how good were they really going to be?
Yeah, who knows?
Because they were, even though they were throwing 740 interceptions a game, they were putting up 40-plus points a game and kicking everybody's ass.
They won a game with 5 interceptions thrown.
Right. They were still put like – right. And like we said, they were throwing interceptions, but they were putting 40-plus points on the board.
Yeah,
so,
wow. And
then they listened to everybody else. And I was leading. I'm not going to lie. I was leading the charge. I was telling, you got to get rid of those interceptions. That's killing you. That's killing you. Mm-hmm. And then everybody else chimed, that's right, the interceptions. You can't have that. You're going to lose.
It's going to come back to haunt you.
Right. But what we weren't thinking was they were still winning.
Right. And then when they cut the interceptions down to 1, 2 a game, they were losing by 15, 20 points.
Right. That thought never actually crossed my mind, that they were still winning. All I was thinking was that quarterback sucked. He's throwing interceptions left and right. That's going to hurt that team down the stretch.
Right.
I wasn't thinking they were already putting how many points on the board, and they were winning. So when everybody started everybody started talking, and then New York says, "Oh shit, they're right." They changed things, and they finished dead last in the league.
And that's a good segue to this question, because it was something that was going through my head. They went with the 4 wide receiver set, the gold wide receiver, the gold quarterback. Chicago's up the ante by adding a second gold quarterback. Do they throw the ball that many times that they end up running into the same problem?
You mean a second gold wide receiver? They can't have 2 gold quarterbacks.
Yeah, second gold wide receiver. Yeah. I don't know where my mind went there. But
hey, that'd have been interesting. We're going to have 2 gold quarterbacks. Well, since you said that, that's funny. Can you imagine somebody would have done that?
They'd have been wasting a gold player, in my opinion.
I'm going 2 gold quarterbacks. That way, if this guy gets hurt, he's in and he's a gold. I don't have to worry about it. Holy crap. But back to your thought.
I'm just wondering, 2 gold wide receivers. You're clearly going to throw the football. And if you're split, who knows what their run-pass ratio is going to be. But if I got 2 gold wide receivers and a gold quarterback, my pass ratio is going to be at least 65 or more. Are they going to throw way too many balls and throw way too many interceptions as well?
It could be. But if they get it, if they see, they got to go watch New York's games and see what New York did. I would do exactly what New York did there at the beginning. Find out see what they're running and run that. Run that shit and see what happens. Because, they had the gold wide receiver, but they had that silver wide receiver too. New York did. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think somehow they figured it out, because you could go back and watch the games. This is the truth. This is a fact, because we've all seen it. That gold wide receiver, which happened to be my son's player, was basically a decoy. Because he just ran off most of the time and didn't do nothing. They didn't throw it to him hardly ever, didn't do shit. But that silver wide receiver dominated. He got a shitload of yards, shitload of catches.
The defense was
focused a lot of games.
The defense was focused on the gold receiver, leaving the silver receiver wide open. Well, how do you do that with 2 golds?
Well, here's the thing. What happens now? They got 2 golds. Do you pick one and say, "Oh God, we'll leave the other gold one just to dominate everything now"? I mean, is that what is that? Like I said, since we're not pushing the buttons and we're not figuring out what we want to do, it's whatever the AI does. So if the AI freaks out and goes, "Oh, we got to cover this guy. This is their best play," this guy's going to be open all day long. Mm-hmm. And then we're just going to sit back and watch, on game day, touchdown, touchdown, touchdown. It's like, oh crap.
Right. Now here's my question to all that. You got the double gold. Let's just say for some reason they cover them. You only have so many people who can cover, because you got to have some people to go get the quarterback as well.
Right.
When they got a fullback, we don't know the build of this fullback. We don't know the playbook they're going to use. So first thing that's going through my mind if I'm Detroit, it's, are they using that fullback and that running back in the passing game? If they do, that means linebackers are going to be honest to those passes. So if you get a goal wide receiver covered and a goal wide receiver covered on the other side, who the hell's covering the bronze wide receiver and Charlie Hogan if they're going 3 or 4 wide receiver sets all day long?
And then they have who's going to cover the copper then?
I'm analyzing, because if you go 4 wide receiver set all game long, those golds will always be on 1-on-1, in my opinion. At least one of them will have a 1-on-1 every damn play. You got to prepare for that no matter who you are. Not just Detroit because they get them in week 1. All season, I don't care who you are. But I mean, we can dwell on these wide receivers and lack of corners or whatever, but I do want to touch on Green Bay's heavy defensive build at gold.
Yep, let's go talk about Green Bay now.
I mean, like I said, they've covered every area. Somebody in the secondary, somebody at linebacker, and somebody on the defensive line. There's 3 tiers to a defense. You got your front 4 or front 3, whatever you're doing. Then you got your linebacking corp, you got your secondary. And you put a guy in all 3 locations. All 3 guys there, and then came back on silver to get the quarterback, the running back, and the receiver, and then threw in the extra free safety to complement the defense. Did they spend too much money on the defense considering what we saw with Boston? I say Maybe considering Boston also did that with the silver. They didn't do shit on offense till they got to the bronze tier. So that's why I say maybe, because it might be just fine considering they put so much emphasis on the offense at silver.
Silver, right.
So, I'm just want to get your thoughts on that, because you love defense more than offense, and this is the defensive-minded question.
Yes, I do. I do. Honestly, I think they're going to be fine. Because I think it was the fact that Boston went all bronze on their offense that really hurt them. He tried it. It didn't work out there for how long, and then Marcus kind of had it going a little bit, but it still wasn't anywhere where it needed to be.
Right.
So, and like you said, they went silver wide receiver, silver quarterback, silver halfback.
Mm-hmm.
That's definitely an improvement over bronze.
Yeah. But I'm looking at this team, as in Green Bay, and they got the bronze tight end, they got the bronze wide receiver to go along with the trio of silver offensive players. They put their safety and their second corner at bronze. So, okay. Then they loaded up on defense at copper. 2 linebackers in the defensive end. This is clearly going to be a defensive-minded team. This looks like a team to me that wants to win games 20 or less points to win a game.
Right.
Are they strong enough offensively to handle Chicago? And here's why I go back to Chicago. They know they're going to have offensive firepower, but they loaded up with defense at silver across the board, went evenly at bronze, and then the copper, they went all over the place. A fullback, a wide receiver, a linebacker, trying to cover all criteria here.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have enough defensive power to slow down that combination on offense, and enough offense themselves to get the job done within the division, not just this conference? Because remember, we have an entire conference to break down. But right now, we're only in the North Division, and then we're eventually going to have to compare all this to the West Division.
Well, everybody's picking Green Bay to win that division. So obviously They think they do.
Yeah, well, it's an 8-6 between Green Bay and Chicago. 8-6 with Green Bay leading. More people like that defensive build more than they like the offensive build. Like I said, me personally, my vote would be for Chicago. That's who I'm picking right now to win the division. But we didn't even get to our predictions show. This could change.
Right.
This could change as we learn things and discover things and know things. But my early hunch will be to go with Chicago to win this division. But I'm okay with Green Bay leading the vote, because that would honestly probably be my second pick. So, I don't know. Green Bay is like a major wild card just because of what we were just saying, comparing them to the Boston deal, and they're much more offensively powered. They should be because of the Silvers.
Well, we'll have to wait until week 6 to find out.
But let's compare the one team that I think is a wild card in this. This is why I can't pick them one which way or anything, and that's going to be Winnipeg. I don't know what to think of Winnipeg, and I'm going to call it now. Winnipeg wins this division. I'm not going to be shocked. I won't be shocked, and there's a reason for this, and I'm about to break it down for you. I'm going to ask you one simple question. You just give me the team. Who was the dominating team last year?
Arizona.
Right. Arizona's build. Gold quarterback, gold running back, gold strong safety. Winnipeg, gold quarterback, gold running back, gold strong safety. It's a match. If you look at their silver, they got the corner, 2 wide receivers, and a free safety. Winnipeg's got the corner, 2 wide receivers, again a match. But instead of the free safety,
they went defensive
end. It's a small change. It's anyone's guess right now. Does that change mean worse, or does that change mean better? It could be a huge upgrade, or it could be a huge downfall, or basically be little to no change. The bronze kicker, I licked my finger and put a point in the air for Winnipeg. Dwayne. I lick my finger, put a point in the air for Winnipeg. Okay. Because I think that bronze kicker, I'm going to say this to you all listening to me, could be a huge thing. Because you get to play kicker and punter. And putting that guy at bronze could be just the difference between making a 40-something yard field goal and missing it. Could be the difference in putting that coffin corner kick deep in a game where you're trying to pin the other team to give them a long field to secure a victory. I just think it's going to be a wild card, of course. It's going to be a huge question mark, but I think it's huge. And then they got the 3 defensive players there at bronze to help solidify their defense, when I firmly believe this is a defensive-minded league. You know, to get 2 more outside linebackers at Copper with a tight end at Copper. All in all, they're a huge wild card because they have a huge similar build compared to the champions to a degree until we get later in the build. So,
all right, I'm back.
You know, and as I was just saying, because I was just mentioning how their back end of their build is defensive heavy.
Right.
Between bronze and copper, they have a tight end. That's the only offensive player. A kicker, and the other 5 guys go to the defense. 3 linebackers, a corner, and a free safety. But what I touched on was the kicker. I think the kicker being at bronze is a huge thing. If you can get away with a lack of a skill player or a good defensive player at bronze for this kicker, I think it's huge because he's going to kick those field goals the other kickers in the league can't. And he's going to be able to coffin corner and pin you deep when he's punting better than any other kicker in the league. Giving teams a longer field to go, I think it could help Winnipeg win games late.
Yeah, well, you need to explain that to my son.
Wow. My phone went off. My apologies.
Because if you guys remember, Drew had a fit that show.
I'm only a bronze. I should be higher.
No, and he kind of understands, but he still doesn't quite get it. You know, I tried to explain it to him. I said, "You're a kicker." He goes, "Yeah." I said, "I hate to burst your bubble." I said, "But the truth is this: kickers don't matter." I said, "You ask anybody, they'll tell you kickers don't matter." Well, I said, "So yeah, so you being a bronze," I said, "That's a big deal."
Mm-hmm.
Then he was a little upset because his wide receiver is no longer a gold; it's now a silver. I'm like, dude, relax. But yeah, I like what Winnipeg's done here. Question is, do they have the right playbook to go along with what they have? That's going to be the biggest question. Have they figured out the playbook that they need to make this team work?
Right.
And then that's the one big thing about this whole division. You know, all these guys are new, and we have no clue what they're going to bring to the table, what they're not going to bring to the table. We won't know. You know, if we get the preseason, we might have a little bit of a glimpse into it. But if we happen to not be able to do the preseason and we have to go right into the regular season, we won't know till, a couple weeks into the season. Because even with week 1, you're still not going to know a whole lot. I mean, you'll know a little, but you won't. You have to watch them a few more games to understand.
I mean, you can know quickly if a team knows what they're doing or not if you see a lot of bunch formations coming from Chicago. Then you'll know if they have any common sense or not.
Right.
So, but like I said, Winnipeg to me is the wild card in the division just because they have a very similar build to the defending champions in the top half. Bottom half, it's way different. How important are coppers and bronzes? Maybe we'll find out this way.
Well, we've said it from the get-go. We have seen bronze players in this league dominate. Mm-hmm. We have seen them kick ass. But it also falls into coaching, the build, mm-hmm. and the playbook. So if they think they got all that together, they could easily win this division.
Yeah.
Same with Chicago, same with Green Bay, same with Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
But Detroit,
every team's got a fair shot.
They do, but that no corners just kind of scares me when it comes to Detroit. That's the only. It does. It scares me.
Yeah.
Like we've been saying this show so far, it's a defensive-minded, league. It's a defensive league, and if you don't have star corners out there, you might be in trouble. That's whole. We're gonna see. We're gonna see if Alex and his crew can make it work. If they do, more power to them. If they don't, then they're just gonna have to say, well, we tried, it didn't work, back to the drawing board, and change things for next year. It's that simple. But like I said in the last show, the biggest thing is do not freak out.
Right.
Don't do the New York thing and try to change everything. And I know Chris is going to get tired of this, but, I'm never going to get tired of bringing it up. Don't be like Philly and throw in the towel.
Yeah.
So
just don't freak out.
Yeah, we have. The thing is, everybody, we got to do this, you got to do that. In theory, yes. But at the same time, we have no damn control over what that computer does.
Mm-hmm.
Whether you guys are going to want to admit it to yourself or not, that is the facts. The facts is we put a playbook in, we hope the AI calls it, and if it don't, nothing we can do. Because the AI is going to do what the AI does because that's the way they built it when they made that game. Plain and simple. Right. So why freak out?
Yeah. So, with all that mentioned, considering, like I said, I'll be leaving here a little around 12:30, maybe a little later.
Well, let's get that to the next division.
I could probably get out the door as late as 12:40, 12:45 and be cool. But that being said, let's jump into the West here. And I know you were saying going alphabetical order, so we'll just continue following down the list. Arizona.
Yep.
Defending champs. I've mentioned it many times before. They have the exact same build from last season, except the quarterback goes from silver to gold. And then instead of carrying the free safety and the wide receiver they had last year, they went with the defensive tackle on the defensive end. Clearly to try and get more pressure on the quarterback, I would assume. 13-1. 15-1 overall because they won the playoff game and the championship game. The second best team in the league last year was Baltimore, who had 4 losses. 3 of those losses were to Arizona. So the second best team in the league loses 4 total games, 3 to the number 1 team. They were that much better than everybody else last year. Can they repeat it? I already say no. I don't believe they're going to be anywhere as close to last year's domination. I don't believe it even to be in the ballpark. I still think they're going to be in the title hunt. I think this build is one of the better overall builds in the league because, like I said, I'm very biased to a gold strong safety in this league. I love silver wide receivers. All in all, I think this is a great, great build. So I want to see what you think about this team.
Well, I've been saying it from the get-go, and I'm going to keep saying it. They got a new running back.
Mm-hmm.
He's a little bit taller,
mm-hmm.
but doesn't weigh as much.
Right.
He doesn't have the cheat code, as people like to call it, because we're not allowed to use it. I honestly believe that's going to affect things a lot. I honestly do. Then you go into, they went defensive lineman this year.
Mm-hmm.
We've been talking back and forth, and you've been saying is that what they needed to make that defense better than what it was last year? Or by doing that, did it hurt that defense?
Right.
Once again, I'm going to say the same thing I said about this other team. We won't know until we see it. We can sit here and speculate all day long. Oh, if they do this, they do that, they do this. We will not know until we see it during a game and see what the AI does with it. Plain and simple.
This is very true.
Like I said, I'm going to say it till I'm blue in the face. We don't control this. We're not pushing the buttons. We're not reacting to stuff. This is all the AI. So, however, the men and women of that company that created this and made the AI the way it is, only they truly know how it works. We try to figure it out, and none of us have completely figured it out. That's what's fun about this. That's why we keep playing it. Because honestly, if we figured it out, I think it would be boring.
Yeah.
But see, that is the biggest thing. Everybody's going to have to realize we have no clue once they get on the field what the AI is going to do with each individual team. Because at some point during a game, somebody might have a gold wide receiver, and the AI goes, I got to throw it to him all day long. I cannot stop throwing to him. Somebody may have a gold running back where the AI goes, I'm giving him the ball. Go, 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 run, run. On defense, we know that the AI will cover your ass like it's supposed to. And when that happens, it freaks out on itself because it's, since it's the AI versus the AI, if you have a gold corner covering a gold wide receiver, it freaks out. It won't throw it to that guy. It's going to throw it to somebody else. So there's no way in hell of telling what this thing's going to do.
Right.
I mean, we see it. We've seen it in the other league. We see it in this league. 2 minutes into the game, and they're already trying, and you're down, and they're trying to get somebody to jump off sides, and you're wasting the timeout. Personally, I don't think any of us that if we were playing it would ever do that, because all of us shake our head and go, "My God, why? Why are you doing that?" That is the one thing that drives me nuts. Is I never ever understood why they put that in that game. Well, because it makes no sense.
Here's why it's in the game, in my opinion.
Well, you tell me what you think, because I just don't think there's no sense that early in the game.
The barking the eyes off is in the game simply because of the ability of cadence.
The cadence.
It's to add cadence. I think if the cadence ability wasn't in the game, you wouldn't see that. I don't think you would see
but still, even if it is in the game, why that early? That's just dumb. I mean, dumb. That could come back and hurt a team because they don't have enough timeouts.
Right. And we've seen it happen.
And honestly, yes, and I don't think that's fair. And I'm sure everybody agrees with me. But at the same time, nothing we can do about it because it's the AI.
Here's something I'm going to have to start investigating. I got to do some research on this. Do all teams do it is my thing. Because I don't know if everybody's done it or not. And if I said yes or no, I know I'd be guessing. I have to research it because I'm curious if teams are doing this with quarterbacks that have the cadence ability. And if teams that don't have the cadence ability, do they not try it as often? I'm not sure I haven't paid attention to that at all. And I should pay attention to that and look into that and see if that could possibly be what's going on. Because are they only trying to bark you off because they got the ability or not? I'm going to have to look into that this season because I know that it's something I can do.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
Because if that's the case, then, if we study that and we figure out that's the case, maybe we let people know, maybe you don't want that cadence.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Somebody might know the answer to that already and could clue us in. I don't know, but it's definitely something I want to look into.
Right.
But moving on within this conference, like I said, you got 2 new teams in this division. We're going to go to Denver because that's the next in alphabetical order, then to San Diego, and then come back with Tokyo here, breaking down this entire conference. Denver's build. Gold running back, gold quarterback. Come back with the corner.
We knew.
Gold corner and a silver corner.
You knew he was going with a gold quarterback.
Right. So he's got a silver.
Because we all know that Mark is adamant that you have to have a gold quarterback. I don't believe that's the case, but
That's part of what makes the game fun. Everybody has a difference of opinion. Like, I love the gold strong safety.
Right.
The next guy might be like, you're an idiot.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he complements the gold quarterback with 2 silver wide receivers, and then that silver defensive tackle to round out his top plate area.
Mm-hmm.
Both his safeties are bronze, which is a little concerning for me. But if you can make it work, then that's awesome. They got the tight end at bronze and Slinky Watts, and his own personal player Alvin Phenom is at the outside linebacker. And he's got an inside and outside linebacker and defensive end all at copper. Of course, the defensive-minded guy went defensive heavy to finish out the team. Not surprising. So,
right.
All in all, with this particular build, what is your thoughts on it as a whole?
Oh, I like it.
Yeah? What stands out to you as something you really, really like? Because we've already talked about the idea of a gold corner being shut down. Does that help?
Yeah. I think it does. And, I like the fact that he went with the gold or the silver wide receivers because I know you like them.
Mm-hmm.
And then that silver defensive tackle, I like that. Because then he comes back with the copper defensive end. And I think that, honestly, we've been seeing it. Generic players, they have damn good games too. And the copper's just a little above generic, but if you get the right playbook, it might be a dominant player.
Yeah, and I think a silver defensive tackle improves his copper defensive end's chances.
Mm-hmm.
My only concern with this entire build really at all, well, I shouldn't say my only concern, my big concern with this build at all is one linebacker above copper.
Yeah, that's...
The inside and the other outside are both at copper. I think maybe I'd have found a way to get one of them to at least bronze. But can they get away having them there because of the silver DT?
Right, and we are talking Chisholm, who is a defensive-minded guy, and he proves he knows how to run a defense. So maybe he knows something that we don't.
Yeah, I find it interesting. I think it's going to be a unique situation with Denver. I'm not sold on their build one way or the other. Outside of the silver wide receivers, I love it. I just love that. I don't know why I'm favored to that. That's why I like Arizona's double silvers. I think it's a good move. I think going gold is overachieving for a receiver. Bronze, I think, is underachieving for a receiver, although I've seen plenty of bronze wide receivers be absolutely ridiculous. So I just like playing the field, if you want, playing that safe zone, and I go silver just to be comfortable. Putting them both there, I think, is a plus. And with the gold quarterback,
right there, right there's a statement. He likes playing it safe. Yeah, hey, wuss.
Got to play it safe. Take one too many chances, they come back.
What's the fun in that?
You don't win.
Well, I'm gonna say this. We all want to win the championship. Sure, that would be nice. But at the same time, it's not like we're getting paid. We're not doing this for money. It's just fun. So if you're going to go out there, if you're going to have the mentality, oh God, get pissed off because you're losing all the time and cry and this and do. Why even do this shit?
It's competitive.
Why?
Competitive nature.
Yeah, but why? But it's just, like I said, though, you really can't. Competitiveness, in a way, kind of goes out the door with this.
Some people love the idea of having bragging rights before money.
But at the time, like I keep saying, we're not in control of nothing except for picking a playbook and picking your players and their ability. That's it. Other than that, you have no control over anything that happens on that field.
Right.
The computer does everything.
Remember, some guys are convinced if you put together the right playbook, that AI is going to make the right choices. You eliminate the ability for the AI to call the wrong play. And that was one of the things that Davis mentioned on a couple of shows and in chat rooms and on Slack is he had one too many run plays in the playbook. So when the game would get late and he'd need to throw the football, he had the playbook a little messed up because he didn't have enough pass plays. And he was running on 3rd and long when he shouldn't have been. Right. That's a product of the playbook, not the AI, because it's only limited to how much it can call. So who knows? But then again, that's another part that makes this all fun. My opinion, what I just said, could be completely horseshit, or what you said could be completely horseshit, but we don't know the answer.
No, that's what I said. Nobody knows. Nobody knows. Because like I said, it comes down to the one simple thing is we're not the one picking the plays, pushing the buttons, and doing so. It's all up to the AI.
Right.
That's why I don't stress it. I don't freak out. I just do and have fun. If we win, we win. We lose, fuck it. Who cares? If we happen to make it to the championship and win it, so be it. If we don't, we don't. I'm not freaking out.
Yeah.
I can't freak out because if I'm freaking out over this, I'm already freaking out about what my Browns do year in and year out. I'm going to have enough. I won't like football at all anymore. I won't like this. I'm not going to like that. I'm just going to,
Well, let's get to this San Diego team. Get it back on topic with overalls and everything. San Diego's build, I honestly don't make heads or tails of it just yet. And here's why I'll say it. Gold wide receiver, as I just mentioned a second ago, I think it's a little overdone. Doesn't need to be done, but more power to it. Gold quarterback, can't go wrong with it. Love River Scott at strong safety at gold. Big plus. The running back at silver, if I was going to have had as much firepower to my gold, I think I'd have switched to my receiver and my running back. Corner at strong silver, outside linebacker in the other corner. There's a double silver corner. I think that also works like double silver wide receivers. Free safety, tight end, wide receiver, and inside linebacker at bronze, and come back with another wide receiver, which would be the third one on the team. Free safety, which is the second one on the team, which helps if you get in nickels and dimes, and then a fullback in Chad Fraser, who has a quality overall build. The thing that catches your eye real quick is when you look at the team, $5 million spent on the Coppers. 3 players, $1 million apiece. Each ability is $1 million. They have 5 total abilities spent on the Coppers because they have so much money spent elsewhere. Does that hurt them in the back end, or not investing in the Coppers become irrelevant? And I looked at it like this. How often are they going to use this fullback? And this is why I like this interview. This is, to me, a fair question. How often are they going to use the fullback? If it's seldom, you don't need to invest into him. Eric Collins only going to be on the field in nickel and dime. So no, why not put more money on a player who's on the field on a regular basis? And how often are they going to get in 3-4 wide receiver sets to where Desi Watkins has to come on the field? If they're not going to be in that many formations that are built like that, you don't have to spend so much money on him either. So that, to me, I'm asking myself, did they think of this, or was this just a product of screwing up the cap? It's the first year owner.
Maybe a combination.
So I look at it and it's just like, But overall build to me is a huge wild card because it's all over the place. Yep. This is not a build I'm familiar with seeing anyone else try before. Things are just crazy. The only thing I like the most out of all this, like I said, is the gold strong safety and the 2 corners at silver. I think that's a huge plus. Quarterback can't go wrong. The rest of it, I'm like, how much is this going to affect him or not affect him or whatever? And I think he only has 2 linebackers on this team as well. Yeah. So your thoughts?
Same thing you said. I'm very not sure what to think, really, because like you said, it's all over the place. And did he spend too much in one area and not enough in another? I guess we'll see. Because like you said, how often is it going to be? Because, if he's going to use the fullback a lot, you would think you would want it to be more than a copper. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If he's not, maybe this will work. Like I said, for the extra free safety, how often, if they're going to run nothing but nickel and he's going to be in there a lot,
right?
Definitely wanted more than a copper. If not, you know, if they're going to run a 4-3, 3-4, that's another question, because definitely don't have enough linemen, enough linebackers, or whatever. So, gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, and I asked this with the $5 million. Did he go 2-2-1 or did he go 3-1-1?
That's
really the only
question.
options. It's the only options with those players. I just, like I said, it's my kid's team, so I'm trying my best to analyze it the fairest way possible for him to have some something to grasp onto and say, yeah.
So basically, you're trying to say you don't want to be the dad and go, what the hell are you doing? You're an idiot. Yeah, you want to be the fair, IFL analyst guy and go, maybe if he did this, maybe, yeah.
Right.
I see what you're doing there.
I'm just still shocked that the running back is not gold. And I'm wondering if he was trying to do the courtesy thing and not make himself the focal point of his own team and give the love somewhere else and put himself down to silver. And by doing that, he hurt the team.
That's a damn good possibility.
Because we know he made a bronze running back, which happened to be his own player in Boston, do okay.
Uh-huh.
Did he feel maybe just promoting him to silver was all he needed? That could have been the other part.
Right.
Even if I know the right answer, I'm not going to say it over there. I'm just going to give possibilities and let everybody guess. Because
let everybody speculate.
Some teams talk to me and tell me straight up what's what, and I'll just give you different ways to think about it, and you figure it out.
There you go.
But like I said, my favorite thing is that strong safety at gold. I think it's a huge thing. It's a huge plus, and I think that's great. So, it's just my thought on that. But
there you go.
I want to get to Ramos' team.
Alrighty.
I've taken issue, if you will, with this team since the beginning. And I'm just curious. Boston went with double gold corners last season. And it wasn't that it didn't work, but it didn't work to where we thought, oh, shit.
It wasn't
ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree. It wasn't like you're saying there. It wasn't to where everybody in the league go, oh, my God, I got to have 2 gold corners next year. If I don't, my team's going to suck.
Their secondary wasn't beat. Their secondary wasn't shut down. To me, it was just to where it didn't come back and say, wow, double gold corners is a thing we got to try. And we didn't see it. Now, they got double silver safeties, both free and both stronger at silver. Does that help back it up? All 3 skill positions, as in wide receivers and running back, they got a gold and 2 silver wide receivers. Again, I love the silver wide receivers. That's a huge thing. I'm just curious, have they invested far too much money in the secondary as a whole? Because they're 2 golds and 2 silvers. And then he has a third corner, the only team in the league with a third corner at copper. And an extra linebacker, or an inside linebacker at bronze and an outside linebacker at copper with the defensive tackle and Eddie Newberry. And I've already made the comments about Lou Bacon being the kicker with Winnipeg. The same thoughts are going to go to Boo Weaver here, so I don't even have to dwell on the kicker. If you guys heard me earlier, you know what I had to say. If not, rewind the tape and listen. I get the same thoughts with this particular player. And Tom Green's at tight end. And one thing I've always known about Ramos is he's made a tight end work no matter the tier. So wherever he puts his tight end, I just ignore it because I know he's probably going to make him work. So the corners, I'm stuck on the corners. I think it was a mistake. Just my honest opinion, I think it's a mistake. But, he might have figured something out. and said, this is where I'm going, because I don't think Ramos does this. I don't think of Ramos doing this kind of thing. So my gut tells me he's thought of something and figured out something, seen something. No, he had to do this.
It's the only thing I can think of.
Because I just can't see him trying something on a whim. I just can't. I don't think that he would think like that. I think he feels something away about something. So this is what I have to do, and here's why I'm doing it. And he just did it. You know. Plus, he's got one of the better running back names in the league, in Jazz Vanderboom. Just said say that name. It's a great name, Jazz Vanderboom.
And that was the first thing that popped out to me. He's gold. I don't think I've ever seen Ramos have a gold running back.
He has jumped on the gold running back bandwagon. He's doing it here, and he just won a championship with one in a different league. So that's, I think, becoming his niche, because he's made bronze running backs be the shit, and now he's handing himself gold ones and becoming that much more dangerous.
Right.
So, yeah. But them gold corners, what do you think? I mean, a real serious, honest breakdown on the two gold corners. Mistake, positive, or unsold either way?
I don't think you needed two. I think one would be good. One would be just, good enough to cover that number one receiver for whoever he's playing against. I don't think you needed a second one, because, like I said, Boston was good, but they weren't great with two gold.
Right.
So I don't know. I don't know what he saw that the rest of us didn't see. That, like you said, it made him go, "Oh, I'm going with that next year. Watch this." I mean, Boston's defense was pretty good, but it wasn't, like you said, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
And it wasn't where, you'd look at it and go, "That's the exact defense I want. I want those, I want this, I want that." That wasn't the case. So,
and it's going to be interesting when those two gold corners get to play that two gold wide receiver Chicago team. That's actually a game I'm going to be looking forward to, just to see who wins the matchup. You got Macho Fog and Tyrone Goodspeed, both at wide receiver. And they're going to take on possibly the most unique pair of corners in the league, and they both happen to be gold, and Konami Kubota and Pharaoh Legault. So that's – Ramos has got some unique names on this team now. I'm looking at this.
That'll happen in week 7.
Yes. Vanderboom.
Chicago. And Tokyo's at home. Chicago goes to Tokyo in week 7.
There you go. Ed with the quick research.
Oh, yeah. So I'm looking at this because, as we've been going through here, I've been looking at different things. Oh, I can't wait to see this game and that, just to see what these guys do against each other. So I've been looking at here. And so, yeah, it's going to be fun.
Well, now that we did a little bit of breakdown on all 4 of these teams, and it seems like Chicago, Green Bay might be the majority vote by both. I'm going to get into the voting that we did, because I didn't mention it here for the West.
Yeah, go
ahead. There's 11 votes for Arizona, 6 votes for Tokyo, 2 for San Diego, 1 for Denver. Now, the reality of it is it's 10-5-2. I'm sorry, 10-5-1-0. And I forgot to say that for the North. I'll give the fair North votes. It's 7 for Green Bay, 5 for Chicago, 3 for Detroit, and 2 for Winnipeg, because I got to take my initial vote off so people have the emoji to click on. So Arizona's got 10 votes, 5 for Tokyo, 1 for San Diego, 0 for Denver. Are you more surprised that Tokyo and Arizona have 11-6, 10-5 that close, or are you more surprised that no one has even voted for Denver?
I'm more surprised no one's voted for Denver.
I find that shocking.
I expected people to vote for Arizona and Tokyo.
And I'm going to say now, do you
sure.
see that big chip?
And I thought so. I thought at least one person would vote for Denver.
Right. So that's why I ask you, do you see that big chip right now?
Oh, yeah.
That's sitting there on Mark's shoulder?
Oh, he's going to be – yeah.
And here's why I say it. If you look at the voting, he is the only team in the league that hasn't gotten a vote.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it's that damn name.
Is that what it did?
Told you, Mark. Nobody likes that damn Denver name.
Every team in this league has gotten at least one vote. Like Atlanta. Atlanta's the only team that has one vote. That's it. Just one. No, they have one. Yeah, they have one. And then San Diego's got one. So those are the two teams that have come off with just one vote each. But
Denver has
technically zero. Because like I said, it shows right now as one, but that's my initial vote, so I can do the vote. So it's zero. And I know that's going to put a major chip on his shoulder, and he's just probably sitting back now smiling at that, being like, you suckers.
No, that's not what he's saying. He's sitting back saying, you sons of bitches, I'm going to show you. Mark.
Is that what he's doing?
You know it.
Yes. Mr. Jimmy Cash posted on our Slack a little bit ago. I just now noticed it. 1 month away. Indeed, we are. We are 1 month away from action.
Season 2.
So I know we kind of gave our favorites to win the North, and we're not doing an official picks show yet, which we will be doing. When it comes to the West, where are you leading to?
Oh, I voted for Tokyo.
Taking Tokyo?
Yep.
And what is it about Tokyo that you're picking Tokyo, even though you just said the double corners at gold you wouldn't have done? What else do they have that says that's why I got to pick him?
He's got a gold running back now.
It's all about that running back for you, huh?
Oh, it is, because I've seen him. I've seen him make a bronze dominate.
Okay.
He's got a gold now. And you already said he had a gold over the other one, and he dominated over there. And now he's over here. Got a gold here.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's going to be a team. I mean, he lost, 4 games last year, you said? And 3 of them were to Arizona, right?
That was Baltimore.
Baltimore lost.
Yeah.
Okay. Baltimore lost 3 to Arizona. Now, how many did?
Tokyo was 6-6, I believe. Or 7-7 or 8-6.
That's
one
right.
of the other.
That's because he kept messing with some stuff.
I have to check it.
But at one point, everybody was saying Tokyo was a team to beat.
Mm-hmm.
And then he changed some shit, and then it went to hell. That's right.
He had that New York syndrome, but he did it late.
But I don't know. I think that the addition of that gold running back, because we all say it, you got to have a gold running back. Everybody, a lot of guys believe the gold running back is the key, and he has one now. And like I've said it, others have said it, he's dominated with a bronze. How scary is he going to be with a gold?
I guess we're going to find out.
I guess we will. He's got a tough test the first game of the year. Oh, crap. But they're playing at home. They're playing in Tokyo. So, Arizona's got to fly, however many hours it is to Tokyo.
Right.
So that's, got to take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sure when he first heard it, he's like, oh, no, Arizona. But you got to look at it. We're playing at home. We don't have to go nowhere. They got to come to us. That's a long flight to Japan. It's,
And it is.
So, and since we're talking about, this conference and we're looking at the games, Green Bay is at Winnipeg. Detroit's at Chicago. Denver's at San Diego. How bad does Chisholm want to run up that score? now that nobody's voted for him and nobody's giving him any love, how bad? Honestly, how bad is it going to get for San Diego?
I guess it could, huh?
What? Yes, you have your one player on San Diego's team. Yes, Dwayne, you do. Wow. Okay.
What did he say?
Oh, he's running his mouth because his cornerback Joe Starr is on San Diego's team. He's just saying he hopes that San Diego eats Denver alive. Hey, it all depends on what your cornerback does when you're on defense, huh? Uh-huh. Oh, you want him to get a pick? Oh, are you calling it? Are you saying he's going to get it right now? You're calling it.
Pick 6.
So Joe Starr will get a pick 6 in game 1. You're calling it. Is that what you're telling me?
Wow.
There you go, folks. He said his corner, Joe Starr, will get a pick 6 in game 1 of the season.
Wow.
Usually.
Bold little fella, ain't he?
Hey. You did last year. Yes, you did. That first game of the year, yes, you did. He knows. He's telling me stats, man. Telling you.
Yeah.
Gotta love it.
We made it clear before that he used to do this.
And like my daughter was just sitting here saying, remember, when he calls something, it usually happens. I said, I know.
We'll see.
I like it. I like he's getting all excited again. He's getting ready for the.
Right.
He's going to be a beast with San Diego. Okay. 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 Sorry, I'm listening and having a conversation here.
I hear that.
He's gonna wait a minute. You're saying your quarterback's gonna run for a touchdown?
What the hell?
Who is? Okay, let's see. San Diego's quarterback is Dylan Harp. So you're saying San Diego's quarterback, Dylan Harp, will run a touchdown. We'll score a touchdown by running it against Denver. Holy moly! He's calling it. He's calling the shots, man.
So he's got Dylan Harp's on a quarterback keeper for a score, and then he's got Joe Starr on a pick 6.
What? First play of the game when San Diego gets the ball. You're calling it now. First play of the game, Dylan Harp runs it in for a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, he's lost his mind.
If this happens, I'm taking him to Vegas.
I'm telling you. You might have to call the cops because he might end up kidnapped by somebody.
Look at him. He's got a big smile on his face.
Now, since he mentions Dylan Harp's got fourth quarter comeback, leadership, rocket arm, quick release, cadence, and scrambler. Those are his abilities. Which ones did he use is the question.
Watch. You got your sausage in your. Don't choke on it. Like I said, he knows sometimes more than I do. So, okay. So you're saying first time you get the ball, quarterback scores. Second time you get the ball, your running back is scoring. Oh, you're going to score with the quarterback, get a pick 6 on defense, and then score with the running back. Whoa.
Wow.
Man, he is calling it. He's saying this is what San Diego's going to do. How did you know you had a tight end? And I never even told you what was on that team. How did you know San Diego has a tight end?
He has visions. Literally, that's so Raven vibes.
Seriously, how the hell did you know that?
Because he is the all-seeing oracle.
The all-seeing oracle?
Yes.
I'm starting to get scared over here, Dougie.
I hear him.
Because I've never talked to him about what San Diego had. And he's talking about the tight end and going to get a catch and touchdown. I never even told him anything about this team yet.
Well, so all in all, as we end up concluding this episode, you're saying Tokyo.
Yes.
Out of the West.
Yes.
If not Tokyo, who? Since we kind of gave two out of the North. Who would you go with?
Yeah. At this point, you have to go with the defending champs. I mean,
right?
You can't, until somebody beats them or until they fall on their face. You have to.
Fair enough. So
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, and Mark will know this, but I'm never going to pick a Denver team.
Right. Well, I'm going to do this.
It's not going to happen.
I'm going to say this right here, right now. Just because.
All right.
And here's what I'm going to say. And this is kind of an early prediction, but not. We've discussed Detroit's problems.
Yes.
We've discussed how Winnipeg's a wild card.
Right.
So,
and I think I voted for Winnipeg, if I remember right. I thought I did.
I don't know. I'm taking those two off my options. Chicago, Green Bay. I'm convinced right now one of them wins the division. I'm going with Chicago. If I had to vote right now, someone forced me into it. So then I look at Green Bay. I got to compare Green Bay to the West. I'm not sure Goodhart knows exactly what he's doing per se, and here's why. He has the least experience of anyone out of the West. Because Diggs has been doing this for a while, so has Savage. Chisholm has been doing this a while. Ramos has been doing it longer than anybody in the division. And my son has had his nose to the ground doing this since I have. He just hadn't had his opportunity to coach for the first time until last season with Boston.
I changed my mind and went with Chicago.
Okay. So that being said, we know the rules in this league. Each team is going to send a team to the playoffs, each division. So there's going to be Chicago's coming out of the North. That's my prediction right now. Out of the West, it goes right along with what you just said. Until they're beaten, I'm not going to pick against them. So I'm going to pick Arizona. So I have Arizona winning the division right now and Chicago winning the division right now. But I'm also going to go on record and say it right here, right now, and this probably will not change. The two wild cards are going to come out of the West. I say the West sends 3 teams to the playoffs and the North division winner. That'll be your playoffs out of the Pacific Conference.
I could see that. You could easily see that. I would understand why somebody would say that.
Would you predict it is my question. Are you willing to predict that as well right now? Or are you like, no. North has a little better shot.
The North intrigues me a lot because they're all new coach and nobody knows what they're going to do.
Yeah.
So you can't just just because this and this and that. You gotta give them their credit, which was going to lead me into your other little thing before you have to take off, which you wanted to go off about, which we're going to go off topic here in a minute, which giving people their credit, and that's the NCAA.
Oh, yeah. Fucking NCAA.
Yeah. I need somebody to explain to me, because Dougie called me and said they had their first announcement of their final, the four that's going to be in the playoffs. I'm completely and utterly confused.
Yeah.
I can understand Georgia and Alabama. I can understand that. But Notre Dame and Clemson ahead of Wisconsin that's undefeated, Miami that's undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
You have to throw them in there just because they're still undefeated, even though they're probably not going to get any love. But that's Central Florida. They're undefeated.
Right.
You know,
and then two.
Ohio State with one loss, Penn State with one loss, Oklahoma with one loss. Because
Right.
I'm sorry, but even you'll say it, Clemson losing to Syracuse, that was pathetic.
Right. And I'm the biggest Syracuse fan you're going to find.
Yes, because that to me was the worst loss out of all the teams that have lost a game.
Right. And like I said, to touch on it really, really quick, Penn State's losses to Ohio State.
Right.
Ohio State's losses to Oklahoma. They're all right there in the top. TCU also lost to the same team Oklahoma lost to, which is Iowa State, and I think they're 13th, 14th, something like that. So they're down. And Oklahoma, like I said, lost to Iowa State. That's not as bad as Syracuse. Penn State lost to Ohio State. Not as bad as Syracuse. Ohio State lost to Oklahoma. Not as bad as Syracuse.
Bad Syracuse.
And I don't want to hear this strength of schedule bullshit that everybody likes to preach, because they know damn well they won't use that as an argument when their team's getting screwed. If your team's getting screwed, people forget all about that argument. And I don't want to hear Notre Dame's got a tough schedule. Notre Dame's teams in the top 25, but they're all like 20th or lower, except for North Carolina State. I think they're 14th. But their overall schedule as a whole is garbage. And there's no way Clemson is ahead of any of those other one-loss teams. If I did the power rankings right now, I got Georgia 1 over Alabama because I think they've had a harder schedule. And I'm using the schedule thing myself because with them two teams, I'm allowed because they're both undefeated.
Mm-hmm.
Got to pick the harder schedule when they're undefeated. I'm going with Georgia slightly. Notre Dame is not third. Clemson is not fourth. I've got Oklahoma and Ohio State that should be third and fourth, unless you put in Wisconsin. And to me, Wisconsin automatically has to go above both Penn State and Ohio State because they're undefeated and they're in the same goddamn conference. I'm going to catch your schedule on that one. That's what people are going to preach.
Well, then, I mean, how is Miami not in there?
Remember, Miami's undefeated in the ACC. That's why they're down low. But Clemson's where they are because they're one-loss team in the ACC. Never mind. That's the logic that you get from this bullshit, which is why I hate the new system.
And that's what you and I talked. You and I talked when you called. The problem is it's a committee that picks this.
Mm-hmm.
They talk it. They discuss it. I think, like you and I talked earlier, they need to do what most high school organizations do is you get points for a certain win, you get points for a loss, and you add it all up, and however many points you get, that's how you get it.
Right.
Plain and simple. That way, what you do on the field actually means something. It doesn't, not somebody in a room going, "Oh, I like this guy, I like this," because that's what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's people in there that just don't know what the hell they're doing, and they're just going to pick somebody because of the name or because of this, or somebody got in their ear, "Hey, you need to pick this team. Make sure you do it." And they're like, "Oh, okay," because it's happening.
Right.
They'll never say it, but somebody bought somebody off.
I'm gonna ask you this real simple. Clemson is 7 and whatever the hell they are. I'm trying to think now off the top of my head. I want to say 7-1, but I could be inaccurate on that one.
I think that's it. I think they're 7-1.
I think it's what they are. Yeah, they're 7-1. They're not even leading the Atlantic Conference. That belongs to North Carolina State, who's 6-2. Okay, by the way, Syracuse is 4-4 overall. Miami is 5-0 in the Coastal and 7-0 overall. Let's just say, sake of argument, North Carolina State stumbles somewhere and Clemson wins the Atlantic Conference. Coastal Conference goes to Miami. They get to play. But are you going to tell me Clemson gets to stay in the top 4 if North Carolina State goes to the ACC championship game representing the Atlantic Conference? Because this could happen.
Mm-hmm.
This very well could happen. And to me, it's very plausible that it could happen because North Carolina State, like I said, this is a team who was supposed to be so good this year, Florida State. They beat Syracuse, the team Clemson lost to. They beat Louisville with their overhyped quarterback. They've lost to Notre Dame, who's currently ranked, I guess it's third or whatever. So my thing is they've had no difference of a schedule than anybody else in their conference, in their division, whatever you want to call it. And they're only sitting there at 6-2. I'm trying to remember who the heck their other loss was off the top of my head, but I don't remember. But it's going to come to me as I'm talking. That being, it was South Carolina. South Carolina week 1.
Right. So, and I'm upset because, like you said, those 3 teams that are undefeated are getting no love. Central Florida is getting nothing. No one's talking about, but they're undefeated. I don't care who they play. You and I have talked about this for a while now. I don't care who you play or how you play. If you're undefeated, you have to be considered one of the best teams in the country because you're undefeated. And then, of course, you're going to have all those people that say, "Oh, they don't play then." They don't. It doesn't matter. That's not – no. You cannot take it out on a team because that's who they have to play.
And here's how things could start weeding out. North Carolina State, they get to play Clemson this weekend. So they get to play them this weekend, which could be a very interesting game. Then it leads me to Alabama and Georgia. Alabama and Georgia. And here's why I go to Alabama and Georgia. Because Georgia's undefeated, Alabama's undefeated, and those two are on separate sides of the standings. Georgia's in the East, Alabama's not. They're in the West. I do find that funny. It's the Southeastern Conference, but they have East and West divisions. Why not just go South and East? Who gives a shit? But the point is, they're going to play each other in the SEC championship game probably if both teams can run the table. Well, they will if both teams run the table. If both teams go to the SEC championship undefeated, whoever loses, do they really deserve to be knocked out of the top 4? You lose one game to another team in the top 4 in championship game of your own conference. That to me would be bullshit.
But it's going to happen. If they do, if it works out that way, and one of them's going to get screwed.
Mm-hmm. I just find that very interesting when it comes to that game. So, I mean, like I said, one thing we're sure we could do an Inside the IFL and do a whole freaking discussion on college football, which I'm completely okay with.
I want to do that. I want to do a college football one. I want to do an NFL one.
Maybe we should line some of those up because I can go on and on about college football. You know that because I like that head and shoulders more than the NFL.
Yep.
So, but yeah, for everybody who was in the chat, I do appreciate it. If Ed's ain't got nothing else to say, I'm going to wrap this one up because I got to
we're good.
I know you're going. And who knows if I got nothing to do later this week or tomorrow, maybe. Who knows? I know I work tonight, get up early tomorrow. Who knows? Maybe we'll get on here and do one. Just shoot shit about some college football.
Good to me.
FYI, I'm calling you now. We'll get on this if we do an NFL podcast. I was asked yesterday or the day before if I had to pick right now. If I bet $1 and I got $1 million back, if I was right, who would I put in the Super Bowl? I picked the Eagles versus the Bills. That's right. I said the Eagles and the Bills. Didn't stutter. So, yeah. And that was before the Calvin Benjamin train, by the way. Just pointing that out. So,
yeah, both those teams improved. Before you take off, what the hell is Miami thinking?
I gotta be nice. Because I'm not them. And I don't know where their mind comes from, and I don't know where they're thinking this, that, and the other. But here's what I'm gonna say. Do you, without looking, do you remember when Ajay, I can never say his name right, was drafted?
No.
Just asking, when was he selected?
I honestly don't remember.
Selected in 2015.
Okay.
A round 5 pick, number 149 overall, out of Boise State. I told you he was going to be their starter quicker than shit, which happened.
Yes, you did.
You said no because he can't block, and I said bullshit. Didn't matter. He became the starter pretty damn quick. I said he was going to be a very solid back, nothing extravagant, but he was definitely going to be a guy you can lean on. Okay? I said all this.
Yes, you did.
Here's my question.
Okay.
Here's my question. By the way, this was a guy who got arrested in 2011 for stealing sweatpants at a Walmart. But anyway, not many people know that, and he had to serve 5 days. But Miami made the statement that they traded him because of the fear of knee injuries in the past. If that's the case, all said knee injuries came before he became a Miami Dolphin. Why the fuck did you even pick him to begin with? Why did you draft a guy? I don't care if it was 5th round, and I don't want to hear all its good value at that point. If you were concerned with said knee injuries that he had before you ever selected him in the draft, why are you selecting him in the draft? To me, it's an excuse to make up for the fact that they're just stupid.
Well, yeah.
But that's what they've gone to the media with. The fear of injuries that happened, I think, in like 11, I think it was. So 4 years prior to being drafted, they're worried about an injury from then. It's ridiculous.
I have to do this real quick, and then I know you got to go. But aren't they as stupid as my Browns?
All right, we got to trade. High five. Another high five. Did you call that? Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. We didn't call it in. We didn't send the paperwork. Damn. Well, guess what?
And I'll leave you with this. I've told you, and I'll say it again to everybody listening on the air. I think A.J. McCarron is the best backup quarterback in all of football.
Oh, you said it many times.
I don't think he's had the opportunity yet in Cincinnati. And I think, honestly, if they'd have thrown him in there and gave him a shot and been real with it, he'd have beat out Dalton for the job. I think this would have been a good pickup for the Browns. But when you can get a 2nd and 3rd and get Garoppolo, who, let's face it, has a higher ceiling in the end, I think, than McCarron, even though I'm talking right now better. Were they going to overpay for McCarron? Very possible. Or did the 49ers underpay? Who knows? Very possible. But at the end of the day, you didn't get the deal. The deal gets made public. What happened? Now you got Kessler, Hogan, and Kaiser all sitting there going, what about us? You're now just told us we fucking suck, or you don't trust in us enough to where you were going to go give up 2 fucking high draft picks for another quarterback. Now their confidence just went.
Yep, such is the life of being a Browns fan.
That's this part of the story no one's talking about. They just shot their current quarterback.
Well, hell, I mean, look at what they've done. They start Kaiser, then take him out, and then put the other guys in. And they've done it for how many weeks in a row now?
I think it's because they don't know who they want to start. I think they want Kaiser to be the guy, but I think they have question marks on him. So I think they're willing to give the other guys live, real game action experience, which might be a smart thing if you're still uncertain.
But at the same
time,
time,
you're unsold on the guy.
You just said it though. But what did you just say? That just shot their confidence.
Right.
His confidence got to be at 0 right now because you started him, take him out, start taking.
Of course.
If it was me, I'd tell him, fuck you, trade me, cut me, whatever. I don't even want to be here anymore.
Right. I would too.
I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah. It is what it is. So we're going to have to do a show on college about the stupid power ranking system they're doing and this stuff going on.
And how stupid.
If I have enough energy in me tomorrow, maybe we can pull one off. Who knows? We'll see.
All right.
But
Dwayne's got therapy tomorrow, so.
Yeah. So.
I won't be home until like 11.
Well, I wouldn't be getting out of bed till like 1 or 2. So
okay.
But that being said, I do want to thank everybody who was here, watching live, listening live, whatever you want to call it. Of course, Dwayne giving us his analysis in the background.
That was awesome.
All that other.
You gotta love that.
So that being said, remember Friday at 1:00. We have another episode where we're going to break down the Atlantic Conference side of things and get into those 8 teams and give some fair thought and opinions on those teams. And in the meantime, gentlemen, Slack's been pumping recently. Keep it alive. Keep it going. Remember, owners, send me who will carry your leadership ability as soon as you can, because the hexting of the teams has begun within the editor yesterday, and I'm currently on the team 4. So for everyone, we're gonna catch your ass down the road. Later.
All right. Later.